Today's episode is brought to you by the folks over at SeatGeek, the best and easiest to use ticket platform out there. They take the confusion out of buying tickets using a 0 to 10 scoring system and a green is good, red is bad color rating system so you and your loved ones get the best deal possible. So whether it's going to see our beloved Redlegs at Great American Ballpark, the Bengals over at Paycor, FC Cincinnati, one of the area college teams, or pretty much anything in between, use promo code Riverfront at checkout and receive $20 off your first order. Click the link in the show notes to download the app and get started. That's Riverfront, one word, for $20 off.
Hello, everybody!
What up?
My name is Tim Daniel. His name is Ben Brown, and welcome to the finale. Is this the season? Do we call this the season finale?
Oh, yeah, season finale.
All right. Welcome to this season finale edition of Late Night Reds here on the Riverfront. This is our final show of the year. As you see, we do have some guests underneath us. We'll have plenty of more guests later. But we'll get to just a second. Want to make sure we give a quick shout out, as always, to our Patreon fam who make this possible every week, where you can also be a member at patreon.com/RiverfrontCincy. And Ben, we have, looking right now, before we get started, we have not even started the show yet. We have our largest live audience we've ever had on a show right now.
Okay.
We haven't even said hi yet. Well, I guess we did the hello, everybody. But so we're gonna have a big fun draft. Our two guys here, they're gonna kind of help us a little bit with some ideas of like the draft thought process and potential guys we can look at as well. And then we'll of course have our fantastic Christmas draft here in about a half hour, which we already have a couple guys in the queue that are like, I'm just so excited. I had to go ahead and log on. I can't wait. But let's go ahead and introduce these guys first down behind us. Also, first, if you are checking out our college stuff, you check us out at riverfrontcincy.com. You've seen this guy's name quite a bit. He is our Miami, Ohio beat writer covering football and basketball for us, Mr. Jack Mueller. Jack, how are you, buddy? Welcome to the show.
I'm fabulous. Thank you guys for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Does you get on Travis's nerves yet, like I used to yet? Not
quite.
Okay.
I'm not quite there yet, but give me a couple more weeks. I'm sure I'll be there.
Yeah. That's my guy. Have it actually before the season started. If you check out our YouTube channel here, have a great interview with Travis. I did. It was a lot of fun. Travis Steele being the head coach at Miami of Ohio, and Ben, fellow Boone County alumni, in the house with us tonight.
Yes, sir.
Putting on for the high school.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, former Boone County alumni and also former student aide as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jackson representing.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I was the OG. So there we go. He is MLB Scout, current owner of D-Bat Baseball Training in Hebron, Kentucky. One of our favorite people, Jackson Laumann. Jackson signed to play baseball at the University of Cincinnati, so I let that slide.
Yeah.
So I like him enough. So we get past that little issue, and we're good friends. So what's up, buddy? I think we've been like trying to get you on here for a couple months now, so I'm glad we finally make it work.
I know. I appreciate it. I'm excited to be here, and obviously me and Tim, old buddies, and Ben's kind of been, a man of many hats for me, a friend and a role model and a father figure. So super excited to kind of get back with you guys and be a part of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And Same thing for me. So like that's why I was like, I guess I'll let Ben be on the show with me. Actually, funniest story. The thing was actually like I had Ben on like 3 or 4 episodes, and Chad and Nate were like, "Why don't you see if he wants to be your co-host full time?" And I was like, "Yep, that's gonna be happen. That's gonna happen.
Let's do it."
Yeah. So Jackson, before we get started, real quick, tell us a little bit about DBAT training facility, what you guys do, how your system works, and when we can go and take some hacks in the cage.
Yeah, absolutely. So DBAT, it's been a project for myself and my dad for a while now. Like you said, I played professionally for a little bit, and I was a DBAT player rep. So at the time, they made wood bats, things like that. And I just kind of always felt like this area kind of needed a real state-of-the-art facility. So it's been something that we've kind of dreamed up and been excited to be a part of. And so we offer kind of anything and everything. So we have a fully stocked, about 4,000 square foot pro shop, aluminum bats, wood bats, kind of all the accessories and gear, apparel, you name it. We got it. We have 15 cages, 3 pitching machines that throw both baseballs and softballs. We offer memberships. We do lessons and camps and clinics and team rentals. So it's just kind of something that we had always wanted to do and kind of bring back home to Northern Kentucky and be able to kind of provide, a facility for the younger generation to keep going and stay in the sport.
That's awesome, man. I know before you opened, I got a chance to tour the facility is beautiful.
Thank you.
Awesome. It's full. It's great. My only issue is you guys aren't selling Topps baseball cards in there yet.
Yeah, I know.
My only issue.
I'm sure we'll be there. I'm sure we'll get there.
But
only issue, my kids stopped playing baseball 2 years too soon. Gosh dang it.
Yeah, we talked about that last week after Ohtani signed a $700 million contract for $68 million a year. So yeah, like we said, Jackson's been a scout in the big leagues for a short time. Jack, actually, even though he's our Miami of Ohio writer, he also did a summer working in the Cape Cod League. So some of these guys we're going to talk about the Reds options at number 2 overall. He's seen some of them play, so it's going to be nice to kind of get that insight as well. And the idea with this is we're just going to talk about 4 or 5 guys that are up there, guys we could see potentially as options there. If we like the idea, if we don't, and kind of go from there. Or if we don't know the guy, which look, let's be honest, it's very early in the draft cycle. That's okay too. I took this off Mayo's pipeline. So we'll talk about some guys we'll see how it goes. But I did want to start obviously with I think I've texted all 3 of you individually about this guy already. So I felt like he was the guy I wanted to start with. And that is JJ Weatherholt, 2nd and 3rd baseman out of West Virginia. Won the NCAA Division I batting title this past year. Has raked at every level he's played at. And then I saw Mayo discuss that he's likely going to play shortstop this year at West Virginia, which is a Red scout dream, right? Shortstops, like they're like, oh, you play shortstop, you're on my team. And Jackson, when the Reds got the 2nd pick, I texted you first. I was like, okay, what can you tell me about JJ Weatherholt? And you said rakes, just nothing but rakes.
Yeah, this kid. So I'm fortunate enough with the area I cover. I cover the state of West Virginia, so I've seen JJ a lot, and that's, a lot of guys. You look at the holistic things and tools that they bring to the game. And really, like everything's great, how physical they are, defensive ability. But at the end of the day, what gets guys to the big leagues and what keeps them there is if they hit. And this kid it's all he's ever done. Like you said, he hit, 449 last year, led NCAA. Sneaky power. He's had I believe it was 16 home runs. Controls the strike zone like nobody does. Really struck out less than, I think it was 8%. So just kind of everything you're looking for in a hitter, especially a hitter with potential. And then on the flip side of that, when you're selecting somebody that high in the draft, obviously they have to do both. So the defensive side is he is an up the middle athlete. He will play shortstop for them this year. Long term, it's probably more of a second base, third base play. But yeah, you're kind of buying the fact that no matter where this kid is going to go, he's going to hit, and he's going to be the staple in the middle, of a major league lineup, in a couple years to come.
So, Jack, I'll get your thoughts on him as well here in a second. Jackson, you can kind of speak on this really well. The baseball draft's so unique in this situation because look at Hunter Green. Hunter Green was probably the best player in that draft, and the Reds got him at 2 because of negotiations and slot and things like that. I can't remember who went number 1. Tampa had the pick that year, is what I remember. But in this situation, what are the chances you feel he doesn't drop to the Reds and Cleveland takes him at 1?
It's really hard to tell. Unlike, like you said, without the other drafts in the sports, there's such a delay between when these guys are selected and when they impact the actual team that took them. Football, they're on the team the next year. Same with basketball. So, you're looking at a 3-4 year timeline. Typically, guys move quicker or slower. But you're not really drafting primarily for need in the baseball draft. It's kind of like best player available is typically how it's approached. And that's that everybody views that differently. Some organizations, there's just different philosophies and different ways they want to do it. Especially now the way that the draft has been kind of reworked with money. Obviously that plays a huge part in how teams want to play later in the draft. When you have that much of a bonus pool to work with, you can get creative and, hey, we're going to save a little here. We're going to spend it a little bit later on. So there's different ways to do it. Typically going into a draft season, the top 2, 3, 4 guys kind of stay there. The order is always shuffled to some degree. There's not really a lot of instances where a kind of a nobody name has a great year and finds himself being the first pick in the draft. So that 1 to 5 order, it's kind of flip a coin on how it's shuffled, especially if these guys go out and kind of perform the way that they have the last couple of years. So
cool.
Wish I had a better answer for you, but it's
that's great because
really know,
where else are you going to get that insight is what we're kind of looking for in that circumstance.
Right.
So, Jack, anything you want to touch on JJ before we move to the next prospect?
No, Jackson absolutely hit the nail on the head. The kid just mashes. I mean, you look at his stats from West Virginia this year, he had 1,300 OPS. That is hard to come by. And then you look at his stats on the Cape, that's a wood bat league. That's where a lot of MLB scouts are looking to see how these guys are going to perform the next level. And he just performed as well. He had 320 with a 978 OPS. Like, these are big league numbers. This is a pro-ready prospect. This is probably one of the best pure hitters in the draft, and I would be surprised if he falls past the Reds at 2.
Yeah,
and on top of that, had 36 stolen bases this past year. So, I mean, he can move too. So, I mean,
You're speaking my language there. I love guys who can just ruin a base path for defensive teams. Love that. Yeah. Absolutely love that. So Jack told me specifically about this guy he saw in the Cape League, so I wanted to really get his thoughts for sure on him. Travis Bazzana, second baseman at Oregon State. You kind of said, Jack, that correct. I might be paraphrasing and saying what's wrong here, so you can correct me if I'm saying this incorrectly. But you felt like Travis was a little bit better of a potential upside player than JJ. Was I wrong when you said that?
I think that he has shown more over a more prolonged period of time than JJ has.
Okay.
This is a guy that came out of Australia as a highly touted prospect and has done nothing but perform. Came into Oregon State and has hit, I think it's about 340 over his 2 years in Oregon State. He's a pure contact hitter. Went out to Falmouth and was the MVP of the Cape League. Again, if you perform on the Cape League, it's a good indicator of a pro-level prospect. I think he's got a lower or a higher floor than JJ. I think JJ is probably at the MLB level going to be a better overall hitter, but I think Travis projects as a guy that can play second base for the next 10 years and be a pretty solid contact bat.
Yeah. Jackson, did you see him play at all?
I have not seen him, no.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I know that I looked up the numbers on these guys after I talked to you guys because you guys are far smarter at this than Ben and I are for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And it was another guy I was pretty impressed with, but I don't know. I think I just leaned Weatherholt, but I'm not going to be mad if they take him here, if they get Bazzana here. But, obviously Oregon State's a very high touted college baseball program. So I got to like that. And you mentioned playing in the Cape League gets a lot of upside there. So I know the conversation about this draft is a lot of it's not what last year's draft was, but it seems like that group that kind of Jackson mentioned for the 4 or 5 are kind of pretty solid. And that was a guy that is probably in that 4 or 5. So.
Yeah, I think what stuck out about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ben.
No, go ahead. I was just looking at stuff here.
So, I looked at the numbers as well. I think what stuck out to me with Bazzana that was the most intriguing was like his exit velocities and how hard he impacts the baseball is just like, I mean, it's unreal. And that typically, when you talk about guys in a draft room that are all really, really good and all obviously have crazy upside, and you're, talking about multi-million-dollar deals, and it's like it ends up being some of those little details and kind of, the tiebreakers, and it's the exit velocities. It's some of the, mental performance testing that they do with these kids. And it's just like, those are the things that usually can push a guy over the edge. And I think, the conversations will be had with any shortcomings that are going to be discussed about him is like, at the end of the day, how hard he hits the baseball is going to it's going to buy him a lot more time, just because that's what big leaguers do, is they hit the ball really hard. So,
yeah. Yeah, so I love both players, what I've seen of them so far, so I'm excited. This is where it kind of gets interesting. So Nick Kurtz out of Wake Forest. The thing that's really interesting here is the Reds have done pretty well in the whole Wake Forest thing in years past. Just this year on the team, obviously, best player on the team, Stuart Fairchild, Wake Forest alum. And then obviously they took Rhett Lauder this year with the first overall pick. And Kurtz is a guy that's getting a lot of love from a lot of different sites out there, whether it's just baseball, whether it's Mayo with MLB Pipeline. But you don't often. Was Torkelson the last time you saw a quarter infielder go this high in a draft? So I don't know if he's a guy that goes there, but everything I've seen from him, I like a lot.
Yeah, I think if anyone's going to go and take Torkelson's mantle, it will be Kurtz. All of the metrics that I've seen have said that he's a fantastic hitter, and he's performed at every level he's been at so far. Again, like you said, I don't love the fact that we're talking about taking a corner infielder in the first 2 picks in the draft, because it limits his versatility going forward. But if we're talking about pure hitters, he's up there on the same level as JJ.
So when you talk about taking a corner infielder like a first, so is it better to take middle infielders, outfielders, because of their versatility if they hit better? Is that something that you're looking for? Is if you're looking for somebody to draft that high?
Not necessarily. I'm just looking at draft performances at that pick in the last couple of years. Gotcha. Corner infielders don't usually go that high.
Gotcha.
I think Nick Kurtz more than warrants a spot and more than warrants a look in that spot. But just looking at draft history, corner infielders don't usually go that high. They would have to take a really special prospect to go that high.
Yeah, you're talking like the Joey Gallo-esque type of left-handed hitter, like the elite power, raw power, bat-to-ball skills. And I think that's kind of where he makes up for it as well a little bit too, is, he controls the strike zone really well for a huge power hitter, which is typically one of their flaws, is they're going to swing and miss a lot, which he doesn't really do. But to kind of answer your question, Ben, like when you're evaluating 2 players that offensively, let's just say, are very same metrics, performance, projection, you're going to err on the side of what we call like the up the middle player, the shortstop, second base, center fielder, typically because they're a little more athletic. Over the course of a year, the majority of the balls are hit that way. You want them to make more plays. They're just there's just more value in, the shortstops and center fielders. Also, you have a little bit more wiggle room in like the what if scenarios. Like if you draft a corner outfielder, and let's just say they're not hitting, you're stuck a little bit. Whereas you get the shortstop that hits, but let's say he gets a little bit bigger and stronger as he matures. Now he slows down a little bit. You kind of still have that secondary option of, okay, we can move him off of this position, still get value out of him somewhere else on the field, rather than being kind of limited to, he's what we call like first base only, right field only, things like that, where it's like, that's all he can really do. We're kind of sticking him there. He's really got to rake, or he's got to hit, he's got to have ISO numbers through the roof, whatever it may be, where you just get more versatility, especially the way the game's going. Is there's a lot more teams that are using that, what we call a super utility role. It's like the guy who one day he's in left and he's at short, then he's at second, then he's that's becoming a big part of the game, and just being able to manipulate the lineup and have guys bounce around a little bit just to kind of add value, give other guys a day off or a break, and just kind of that's becoming a very versatile spot.
Well, without giving Jack away here for the fact he works for a Cincinnati sports site and is a Chicagoan, he's probably the last time a team has kind of hit really well, super high in the draft on a corner infielder, right? Would you say?
Brian definitely worked out for us. Where I would not take that pick and ever again. I'm happy with how that one turned out.
Yeah. You know, an MVP, a World Series.
He did all right for himself.
Yeah,
he did all right for himself.
Yeah. His I don't know. Would you say he had a drop off of what he's done since then, or is it just like a weird situation where he's playing in Colorado now? Where I never thought Chris Bryant would be like a Colorado Rocky. It's just a weird uniform on player kind of thing.
Yeah. So after we won the World Series, there was a whole thing Chris Bryant has the trajectory to be the best Cubs baseball player we've ever seen. And then he just got ravished with injuries. It was back injury, leg injury, back to back. And he just never really was the same player after that. He just could not find the same form that he had in 2016. So it broke Chicago's hearts to let him go. But in reality, we were never going to match the contract that Colorado gave him and the value we got out of the trade with San Francisco. Owen Casey, I think, was the return in that deal, is now a top 10 prospect. So he was a fantastic player for the Cubs. We will have him deep in our hearts for the rest of our lives, but can't be mad at it.
Yeah. Don't worry, Jack. I'll make sure Chad doesn't fire you.
Thank you.
A couple more prospects before we kind of get on here. Charlie Condon from Florida, outfielder, first baseman. You know why I like him? He's lefty. Give me team lefty all day, every day. Let's go. Don't really know much. I mean, obviously playing in the SEC. Jax, is he a guy you got to see much at all because of where you're located?
Heard the name, but no, I didn't see him live personally.
Yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of him. I know, but was he obviously a name there? So didn't know if anyone had any insight there. If not, no big deal. Like I said, we're super early in this process, so.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at his raw numbers, I haven't seen a whole lot of film on him, but 25 home runs in the SEC is legit. He had
some really good numbers.
I've seen a couple of clips on him on Twitter where he just hits the ball an absolute mile. In a couple of the mocks, he falls as far as the mid-teens. I don't think he gets that far. I think he's a fantastic hitter. But yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. I don't think he's going to get as high as number 2 for the Reds, but he's legit.
This is a name our community is super high on. If you check through the Riverfront Slack channel, which you can become a member of if you go to patreon.com/Riverfront Cincy. Jack, I'm going to say his name wrong. Caglione, first base and left-hander out of Florida. I feel like anytime this conversation's come up since the lottery, he's a guy that everyone's talked about for the Reds. Does anyone know why? And I'm not saying anything bad about him. I'm not saying he's a bad player because it seems like everyone's stoked about him. But I'm not going to lie. I love the guys that are getting at starting pitchers in the first round. Kind of bored drafting pitchers.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna turn this one on you a little bit. Left-handed, up to 100 with 33 home runs at the plate.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Now here's the thing with this one is I think when he broke out early, it was unanimous first pick. His draft year wasn't even a question. Now obviously he was held to probably too high of a standard. I did see this one live, so he played at University of Kentucky on an SEC weekend. This kid's a freak physically, just strength in both halves. On the mound, now he's touched some 99s and 100 from the left side. It's funky. It's a 3/4 slot. He sits more 92, 95, touches 6 here and there. The big velos have been kind of random pitches. He's not sitting there. Ultimately, I do think he ends up being a hitter. It's really hard. And I know Tani just signed the deal, and that's kind of where everybody goes, especially with this guy. It's hard from an organizational standpoint to develop and kind of have guys move through a system doing both things. Now, Ohtani came over from a league where he had already acquired that. He had kind of had everything down. But when you're talking about, a college prospect, a 21, 22-year-old kid that still has 3 or 4 years, the minor league systems and player programs and plans are so advanced now, excuse me, that it's hard to keep guys on. Like, pitchers show up to the ballpark at a different time. There's different lifts that they do specifically for different muscles. They run different schedules, things like that. So trying to balance and draft a guy saying, hey, we're going to allow him to do both. Now, obviously, this guy is very special at both. So that conversation is going to be had. And if you're going to take him this high in the draft, you probably are going to try to get the value out of him on both sides. It is very difficult to kind of maintain that level as you advance, especially into the big leagues, which I think just kind of goes and gives credit. Not that Ohtani needs more credit. I think his paycheck gives him enough there, but to show how hard it is, because there's really nobody else that does it, especially at that level. But this kid is physically, statistically, the upside, it's all real. It's just kind of like what organization A is willing to pay for it, and B can manage it and try to get the most out of his ability.
All right, Jackson, you convinced me. He's 2 on the board now behind JJ Weatherhole for me now. You got me. I'm in.
There we go.
Yeah. Jack, any additions? Have you seen him at all, or are you kind of?
I mean, Jackson hit the nail on the head. Like, if anyone's going to come out of this draft and be special and be a two-way guy, it's going to be him. Like you said, I think he projects more as a hitter, but the pitching numbers are there. He has good velocity. The control's a little bit of an issue for me, but if anyone's going to be a two-way guy in this draft, it's going to be him. And he's definitely worth a look. I'm not sure he's going to maintain the same level of hype or production, but he's definitely one to keep an eye on.
Dumb question from just being a fan who complains on social media. With a guy like that, does the Brendan McKay situation kind of make you wonder if you should take a chance where he's kind of had a lot of these injuries and he was drafted by Tampa to be a kind of a two-way player?
At least for me, no. I think these are 2 very different players. I mean,
sure.
33 home runs in the SEC speak for itself. I don't think Brendan McKay, I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure Brendan McKay didn't have that. And Caglione pitched in the College World Series, I think. I'd have to double check, but he still shoved in some postseason games. And I don't think McKay had the same level of pedigree that he did.
Okay. Like I said, this is me just kind of not knowing better as I asked that question. So,
yeah, Brendan McKay actually never – he was a tough one. I covered that area as well, and it was like big power bat from the left side, but he never actually had a ton of the raw power was there, but there wasn't ever a big, huge number. I think he hit, 18, his draft eligible year, which is still great, but this kid hit 33. So it's and I think the athleticism's probably a little, if not a lot, where Caglianone is more of a long, stringy, filled out, chance to be just very physical, where Brendan McKay was kind of a stocky, strong, kind of probably the same body he is now as he was, as a junior in college. So there's a little bit more to dream on, definitely in terms of the upside and the athlete with Caglianone than there was McKay. But on the flip, it's kind of, for me, is a little bit flipped, where I take the bat of Caglianone if I have to pick, where I took the arm of Brendan McKay if I had to pick. He was a little more crafty, threw better strikes, better breaking ball, a couple more weapons, just kind of knew how to work the top of the zone. Caglianone had a great year, but he is, like Jack said, kind of a flame-throwing lefty. Secondary stuff's a little soft. Strikes are kind of come and go, which is why, I think the majority of scouts are probably leaning towards the hit tool here and the power potential. A little bit different players. In my opinion, the Brendan McKay situation and the guys that are hey, this is a high-level two-way performer at the college level, and then go out with expectations to kind of continue to do both, that ultimately struggled, had to kind of pick one way. Now, he was probably more faulted a little bit by injury there than anything, but it's definitely in the minds of the decision makers who go through this of just like I said earlier, how are we going to manage this? What's the risk? Do they outweigh the reward? And just kind of figuring out what works best for the individual ball club.
Okay, cool. And then we're putting these guys up before we get to our next segment. This is kind of the other names that Mayo had listed. Just didn't want to go another 30 minutes, talk about 5 more guys. So Vance Honeycutt, outfielder out of North Carolina. Tommy White, quarter infielder out of LSU. Connor Griffin out of Jackson Prep. The first time I've seen a high school guy this low in a draft in forever. And that's still top 10, of course. Seaver King, kind of that up the middle player Jackson talked about, another Wake Forest guy. And then Braden Montgomery, outfielder and right-handed pitcher out of Texas A&M. You guys have anything to add on any of these guys at all? You just want to go ahead and get on to the fun stuff?
I'll add real fast. I think if there's any name I had to just pick out of these 5 that maybe don't get to 2, but definitely sneak into the conversations would be Connor Griffin for me.
Okay.
I saw him this summer. I saw him both on the dirt and in the outfield, but it's just a very athletic, just kind of a really projection-filled, like upside play, really good athlete. Honestly, does kind of everything. He runs, he throws, he has power, good swing decisions, doesn't punch out much. Put together a great summer on the circuit that's typically tough, for high school hitters to do because you're facing a fresh, 95, 96, 97 high school arm every time you're in the box. But he's a guy kind of falls into that category of maybe the now tools and now performance don't put him as high as, pick 2, but you could maybe shave some money compared to those high-end college prospects. And now you take, him in the top 5 and get a little bit cheaper deal. So you have a little bit more room to work with a little later in the draft, things like that. That's probably the first high school name off the board and a guy that could start to climb the ladder come, the spring of 24.
Cool. Yeah, I know the last time the Reds took a high school guy was Austin Hendrick, and it sounds like from what I read, things are not going very well in his projections to make the big leagues. So, yeah, I think hopefully this is one. I think this one's probably gonna be a little better than that, from what I'm reading. So, all right, let's go ahead. Jack, you want to add anything before we go to the next segment?
The only thing I was going to add is that I'm very high on Honeycutt. I'm very high on King. I think they're both very good hitters. Honeycutt's probably a better fielder than King, but they both have really good hit tools. The only one I've seen in person is Montgomery. He pitched against my Firebirds in 2022 in the playoffs and just mowed us down. Like it was 3 up, 3 down, 99-mile-an-hour fastball, wipeout slider. We didn't stand a chance, and that's when our playoff run ended. So all 3 of those guys are legit. All 3 of those guys are names to keep an eye on.
Nice. Cool. Well,
awesome.
I really
not awesome for you. Not awesome for you.
No, it's a tough day.
Well, I really appreciate you guys kind of giving us that insight from what you guys have seen from just kind of being on the market. Please stay. I would love to have you guys on for this next segment as well. We're going to bring on the rest of the crew. 2 of them have been waiting throughout the whole episode to come on, so we'll bring them in here. Of course, joining us, Joe Farfsing from the Bengals Show here in the Riverfront.
What's going on, fellas? Happy early holidays.
The president of the Riverfront himself, Chad Dotson.
How dare you keep me waiting?
You texted me and said, don't put me on until draft time.
It's true.
So
it's true.
Don't
good to be here.
And then,
good
of course,
here, guys.
Our NKU beat writer, also a member of the NBA Friday podcast.
2 weeks in a row, dude. Like, this is incredible.
Yeah. We got Sean Mackey in the building. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. I'm excited about this. So before we move on, Chad, Joe, like I said, you guys were kind of hanging out in the pipeline there. Any thoughts from the draft conversation there? Anyone you got more excited about the Reds potentially getting a 2 after that convo?
It's the week before Christmas. The draft is in the summer, and none of these guys are going to be on the Reds until 2026, 2027. I don't care. It's awesome that they finished in second place, or finished with the second draft pick. And when it gets closer to that time of year, I'll be excited. But right now,
Good.
Will any of these guys be playing for the Reds in 2024? If not, I appreciate the expertise in talking with these guys, and at least one of them I'm going to love in 6 months from now. But I'm more interested in Christmas songs.
There we go. That's why everyone's here today, right? That's the real reason.
Of course.
Yeah. All right. So before we do get this going, here are the rules of the Late Night Reds 2023 Christmas Song Draft. And everything goes well, we'll make this a yearly tradition. All right. So 5 rounds. Everyone's going to get 5 picks. The amount of people on this screen are hilarious, by the way. Cannot get enough of the laughter if you're seeing this many people here. So each draft selection will take the song and the artist of that. So, for example, if you take a Nat King Cole song, Nat King Cole's off the board, and that song, no other renditions of that song can be drafted. So you're basically getting 2 and 1, and the draft order will be randomly selected. So, gentlemen, are you ready to see where you're selecting in this draft? Also, forgot to mention, it is a snake draft. So if you are 7, you will do the wraparound. You guys ready to see how we do?
Let's
do it.
All right. So I guess I got to go over here, actually. All right. The 7th pick goes to Jack, representing Miami of Ohio and Chicago, Illinois. At number 6, we have me. Oh, don't like that. All right. We're going to rerun this.
We know it's not rigged, at least.
There you go. At 5, we have Ben. The 2 hosts are this late? Come
Crazy.
on now. Come on. At 4, we got Jackson.
Come on.
At 3, we got Joe. We're down to Chad and Sean. All right. Who's going to be the Reds and who's going to be the Guardians? At number 2, we have Chad Dotson. So Sean
The Reds
Mackey will be starting our draft.
Hang on. Why does it say we only have 1 ball?
Because I made sure everyone had the same amount of stuff.
Oh no, Joe.
I got you. It's the pink. Okay, sorry. I thought you talked to my urologist. I just wanted to be sure. Sorry, guys.
No, it's a family show. All right, so Sean, you get the first pick. How you feeling? You feeling good?
I am. I didn't expect to get the first pick. I have a lot of deep cuts already assembled on my list from my personal playlist that I have on my Plex server here. So I
know nothing about that Plex server, by the way. Never even been
I know. Well, you know what? You would love my Christmas mix, Tim. You would love it.
I believe
all
it.
in stunning uncompressed sound.
Exactly.
All right. So we ready? Ready for this?
You guys ready? Should we get started?
Let's do it.
Right. Let's roll.
All right. Okay. So I've thought about this, and I've had some difficulty. If I got this spot, I was going to have some difficulty, and now you put that on me on what I'm going to pick. But I'm going to
computer put it on you.
Okay, well, I'm going to pick the song that I always have as the first song on every one of my Christmas mixes since like 2005. And I'm going to go ahead and take from Elvis Presley's original Christmas album, the best one. I'm taking Santa Claus is Back in Town.
Elvis Presley is already off the board at number 1. But Santa Claus is Back in Town. It's a great song. I do love it.
It's a banger.
Is that different from Santa Claus is Coming to Town?
It is.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
You'd know it if you heard it, Ben.
Chad, before you pick, I just have to make mention because the MIA report is officially completed. We have seen him. He is back. Pat Magooch is back, guys. We haven't seen him since like July.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Pat's here. What's up? Welcome back, buddy. Where have you been is the real question, but we're going to let Chad draft while you tell us. So Chad, with the second pick.
There will be some who say this. I'm drafting this a little higher than it should have been drafted. To which I say, you're out of your mind. This was my number 1 overall pick on my personal draft list, on my personal draft board that I have on the wall in front of me here. It's Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC.
My whole game plan.
Chad, that's why you're my dog, Chad.
You know it.
Yes, sir.
The greatest Christmas song of all time. It was featured in the greatest Christmas movie of all time, Die Hard. Go look it up.
Absolutely.
He did it.
What are you gonna say? It's just it's the greatest Christmas song of all time from the greatest greatest artists of all time. Rev Run, Daryl Mack. Come on, Jam Master J.
Absolutely.
Christmas in Hollis. off
Love
the
it.
board.
Good
Love
stuff.
it. Perfect. Well, that's fantastic. I really wanted that pick, so I'm very upset with you, but we'll let it slide. All right, brings on old Jackson. What you got, buddy?
Oh man, I didn't even know I was a part of this, so I'm just.
Did I get that wrong? Is it Joe then Jackson?
Who's next?
Yeah, I thought. Is someone keeping track of this? I thought I was third.
Okay, yeah.
I'm 4.
Joe is
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say. God. Invite me on your show and then you forget me. By the way, if this were the Brady Bunch Matrix, I would be Carol Brady. She has the top, the top middle row, so that's pretty good. I appreciate that.
Oh.
So sticking with my hard rock roots, I am doing "Carol of the Bells" by the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Ooh, good one.
That's like major dad energy right there.
Absolutely,
Solid.
absolutely.
Yeah, major dad energy. I like it. All right, Jackson. Now you can come hang out.
Okay, I'm here. All right, I'm going. I believe this is. I went to get a Big B coffee the other day. The question on the chalkboard was, "What's the most streamed Christmas song of all time?" And I guessed and got it right. So I'm going. "All I Want for Christmas Is You," Mariah Carey.
He did it. He did it.
Absolutely. There
The classic.
it is.
The classic.
It's a classic.
It's
There
a
it is.
first rounder.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
first
definitely
rounder.
first rounder.
Yeah, had to be first round.
Yeah. All right, so Ben, it's you.
Oh, this should not be a surprise. I am taking the greatest boy band group of all time, the Jackson 5, and hitting "Santa Claus Is Coming to Town."
Nice.
The definitive version
Nicely
of that
done.
song.
The definitive version. Absolutely.
You're right.
And you're
Oh,
also
man.
pissing off Chad because he was going to take the Bruce Springsteen version when his time came back around.
It was on the board. It was on my board.
No, it was probably the Bruce Springsteen version, I would say.
I had it on my board, so I like it. All right,
Yeah.
so I'm up now, and I'm going to take a definitive version of another song. This was recorded in the beautiful city of Cincinnati, Ohio, part of old Phillies Records. "Christmas, Baby Please Come Home" by the legend Darlene Love.
Oh, nice. Nice.
That was gonna
Nicely
be
done.
my my second pick. So that was the debate. Elvis
Yeah.
or that one.
Yeah, dude, it's like, but I actually have that record. It's one of my favorite vinyls to play during the holidays, so had to go with it. So Jack, you've got the wraparound here on the snake skis. So
All right. So for my first pick, I'm gonna go with an absolute classic. I heard it today. I was at the Blackhawks game, and it was played. I thought it has to be number one. "Rocket Around the Christmas Tree" by Brenda Lee.
love it. Shout out Home Alone.
Nice.
Do you guys know how old she was when she recorded that song?
I do.
I do not.
I was blown away by this. She was 13 years old.
13, I thought, right?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And then my wraparound pick, I'm going foreign language here. I'm taking "Feliz Navidad."
You guys. I hate having the six pick. I hate having the six
I don't think
pick.
it was gonna make it back to me in round 3.
Which
so I'm
version
gonna-
are you picking?
Jose Feliciano.
Gotta be Jose.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The original.
Yeah, the original.
Any other answer would have been wrong on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, come on.
absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna shout out the beautiful city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with this pick. I'm gonna go "Jingle Bell Rock" by the legends, Hall of Famers of Daryl Hall and John Oates. I think they
Ooh.
did the best version, honestly. So
Okay.
I actually didn't even have that on my list anywhere. I don't know how I skipped that, but
That's a deep cut for me, Tim. Ooh.
well, I suspected that you were gonna have some sort of like Echo and the Bunnymen Christmas song no one heard. So
I don't think Echo and the Bunnymen had recorded any Christmas songs, Tim.
I mean, the Smashing Pumpkins did one. So let's just go
They-
ahead and
they did.
anything's possible.
they did from Disney World.
Yeah, exactly. That brings us to Benny.
I'm going to go with another classic, "Old Blue Eyes," Frank Sinatra, with "Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow."
Ah, that's a goodie.
Can't beat that.
Yeah.
We're not friends, Ben.
Wasn't that version also in Die Hard?
I
What's
believe
the
it
version
was.
of- Yeah, is that the one?
It was
the-
Frank. Yeah, it was Frank Sinatra, I believe.
It's Frank. It's not Dean. Okay, cool.
No,
And-
yeah.
Every time I hear the title of that song, I think of the Saturday Night Live sketch where it was Sean Connery, and it was, instead of "Let Us Know," it was "Lay Tips Now."
Yep.
All right, we're back to Jackson here. Dun dun dun.
Okay, so I grew up with an older sister in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I don't know if I love this song or hate it, but I'm going Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, In Sync.
I love it. I love the play.
Okay.
I love the play.
Okay.
Very solid. It's getting fun. It's getting fun with Joe coming in now.
I'm going with an old one, the Christmas song, Nat King Cole version.
Ooh.
That's a good one.
The people with voices as smooth as that, man. It's an incredibly short list, and every time that song comes on, like it's just, it gives me the feels. So
I like it. We got first, Chad.
All right, so I was hopeful. What's funny is that Sinatra, I was hoping Sinatra would get back to me. I had a different Sinatra song. As the elder statesman, you should have left Sinatra to me, Ben. But I was gonna choose a different Sinatra song, but that didn't happen. So let's go with another old one, another sort of classic. It's Andy Williams. It's The Most Wonderful Time of the Year.
Ooh, yeah.
You know this song?
well played.
It's classic. You've
Well
heard
played.
it.
That is
Yeah.
amazing.
Great call.
It was
What
in
a
a
great
very
thing.
Not Sinatra, but
famous Staples commercial, wasn't it?
Many
Yes.
At one point.
That was a back to school commercial.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Back to school. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
That's
fantastic.
I think it was in a Simpsons episode too. So
Of course it was.
Yeah.
Of course it was.
Simpsons did it first.
Yeah. That's like my favorite South Park episode that they've ever done. The Simpsons did it. All right, Sean, so you got the next two because you got the wraparound.
All right. Well, I am going to take a song that was featured in my favorite Christmas movie of all time, Home Alone. I'm going to take what I refer to as the definitive version of White Christmas by the Drifters.
Nice.
Okay. Nice.
I like it.
All right.
Love the Drifters.
Yeah, I'll take an oldie there. All right. For my next pick, ooh, this one's gonna be tough. I'm actually gonna go with a song from my favorite Christmas album of all time, favorite artist of all time too, and it's a deep cut, and no one else is gonna pick it, but I'm gonna take it anyway because it should be on here. It's "Merry Christmas, Baby" by the Beach Boys.
I had little Saint Nick.
Damn.
I had little Saint Nick on the board.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry,
Same.
Merry Christmas, Baby's better.
It is.
Okay, so I'm up now. I'm going to go with
Yes, sir.
Christmas Time Is Here. This is by the Vince Guaraldi Trio from
Yes.
Charlie Brown's
Charlie
Christmas.
Brown,
We've all-
yes.
We've all seen that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
the greatest
awesome.
Arrested
That
Development running gag ever. The Arrested Development
Exactly,
gag makes
yes.
it even bigger.
Christmas Time Is Here. Classic.
Perfect.
All right, so this one, I don't know how many people have actually heard this. It's kind of, I don't know if it's called a medley, but it's God Rest You Merry Gentlemen and We Three Kings by Bare Naked Ladies and Sarah McLachlan. Absolutely
Oh,
fantastic.
Ooh.
Love that song. A lot of Canada represented there.
Yes.
So that's, I don't know how long that song's even been out, but it's friggin' fantastic. Or the whatever medley piece, whatever the hell you want to call it.
I like it. I like it. We got first Laumann.
All right. Is Bing Crosby off the board?
Nope.
No.
Okay. This
Do
is
it.
my son's favorite song because he has no idea what it's saying. So Mele Kalikimaka, Bing Crosby, going with that one.
And the Andrews sisters.
Nice.
Christmas Vacation scene. Can't beat it.
Oh,
Can't beat it.
Awesome.
right. Benny.
We're going to go with a little Michael Bublé,
Oh.
Ooh.
and it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
I like it.
I really thought that was going to fall to me.
Were you going to take the Bublé version?
Oh, I was. It was sitting right there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
it's wonderful.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Well, that means Ben's up now. No, Ben just went. Sorry. I'm losing track of my own draft, guys. So
Come
Chad,
on.
Chad took my number one, but I had a backup song for my next hip hop song. And I got to go the TLC version of Sleigh Rides because the Left Eye freestyle rap is unbelievable.
That's good.
And
Home Alone 2.
Yep. That song never disappoints. Never disappoints.
That's a good pick.
I really thought I was going to have that pick at 7, so I'm.
He's like, dang it! All my songs.
I'm really scrambling here. Yeah, we're gonna go with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer because I really do not have another pick.
Which
Do you
version?
have an artist?
I'm working on that right now. Is Gene Autry on the board?
He's on the board.
He's
on
on
the
the
board.
board.
Rudolph Gene Autry.
That's
Nice.
the right answer.
That is the right answer. Yes.
And then on my turn, I'm gonna go with. I'm surprised this one made it this far, considering how timely it is. I'm gonna go with the Fairy Tale of New York.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's Shane McGowan.
That's a good one.
Nice.
All right. So I'm really upset because here I had the artist in mind, but there was 2 songs that I really had for them. So I'm trying to decide which one I want to go. But artist, I'm going Stevie Wonder.
Oh, you son of a buck.
And I'm gonna go.
Gosh, dang it.
I'm gonna go Someday at Christmas.
Ah, Tim, you're killing me. You are flipping killing me. No one I pick next. Gosh, dog it.
We know each other too well.
Yes, we do. Now I was gonna say. Now I gotta scroll and find my next song and my next artist.
This is exactly how I felt about 2 picks ago.
Well, this is like the artist thing was Joe's rule that he put in on a live episode, so I couldn't be like, no, we're stuck with this. I'm sorry.
No,
my apologies. My apologies. I screwed it all up.
No, we're good. We're good. So I will go Kenny Loggins.
Oh,
Celebrate Me Home by Kenny Loggins.
That's a banger.
So,
I'm a big Loggins guy. Good pick.
yeah.
I say Sean's like pulling up on Spotify his Yacht Rock Christmas playlist.
Has there ever been another artist who sung as many theme songs for soundtracks as Kenny Loggins? I mean, that guy owned the entire decade of the 1980s.
Yes, he did.
Just fantastic songwriter, and all those songs. I mean, Danger Zone, I'm All Right. My good Lord.
Yeah.
All right, Jax, what are you thinking here, man? It's getting slim in round 4.
It is getting slim.
Who's up? Is it me?
You. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I'm keeping it kid version again. I'm going, I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
Nice.
Couldn't have told you who sang it. Her name is Gayla Peavy, and she was 10 years old when she recorded that song.
Oh,
Boom.
wow.
There you go.
Little actual factual. I like it.
Yeah. All right, Joseph.
Run, Rudolph, Run by Chuck Berry.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Great
Damn
song.
it, Joe.
Like I said, that was on my list too.
I have my top 4 songs that I had on my list. I've got to pick them all. So either I'm picking a lot of really arcane songs, or I'm just not popular.
You're just Joe. We understand.
Probably.
Yeah.
You're a little different.
Yep.
All right, so it's my pick, right?
Yep.
All right, so I know this artist is still on the board. It is Horatio Sands, Jimmy Fallon, Chris Kattan, and Tracy Morgan from Saturday Night Live.
Oh.
I wish it was Christmas Today. If you haven't seen it, Google it now.
Yes.
It's amazing. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Awesome.
That's a good one. So,
Oh,
Sean,
classic.
ending round 4 and starting round 5. We're in the final round after this pick.
All right. I'm actually gonna go with hold on a second here. All right, so I'm gonna go with this. I don't think someone's taken this one yet, but this is a classic that was actually recorded here in Cincinnati by artist Charles Brown. Please Come Home for Christmas.
Gotcha.
Oh man, I had the Eagles version on my board.
The Eagles.
Same.
Yeah.
You're all wrong. Sorry. Sorry. This is a Cincinnati podcast, right? Right?
Yeah.
Come on.
Touche.
All right. My next pick that I'm going to do here. Man, you guys have picked some good ones. I'm actually going to shake it up. This might be a little bit controversial.
Wow.
So here it is. I'm going to go with all right. I'm going to go
controversial if you don't have an answer.
Okay. It's going to be the Jimmy Eat World version of Last Christmas.
Oh, over the Wham version.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like both versions a lot, so I would have been happy either way.
Okay.
I can't believe that's still on the board.
I know.
It's controversial. I know.
Yeah, you can see as we're just all.
It was rage. I knew no one was going to pick it though.
All right, we got Chad with his final pick.
Well, that's my final pick. I knew no one was going to take this one, so I'm just going to do it. It's, and again, this is from the '80s. This is from Band Aid. Do they know it's Christmas? 1984.
I had it on my list actually.
To raise money for the famine in Ethiopia. Do they know it's Christmas? I was hoping that would come back to me in my final round. That was on my list.
It's a jam. So. It's a jam.
It's not really a jam, but it's a legendary song.
Legendary, though.
Also, Bare Naked Ladies did a cover of that, and it's very good.
Yeah, but the Band-Aid, the original Band-Aid version. Come on, you can't tell.
I know. I'm with you. I'm with you. All right.
All right. If I were following my board and my fifth song that I listed is still available, you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch, but I can't. I'm not going to pull the trigger. I'm going off the board. Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer by Elmo and Patsy.
There we go. I like it.
All right, Jackson, round up your lineup here. Round out your team.
All right, I still had like 3 left, and I didn't know which one, but I'm gonna go. One of my favorite Christmas movies, and I think this is still available. The song is "Believe" by Josh Groban on the Polar Express movie.
Good pick.
Fantastic pick.
Banger.
Good pick.
Not really a banger, but a great song.
Yes,
good voice.
Yeah. So that puts us at Ben for your last pick.
My last pick, I'm going to go with another old crooner, the legendary Tony Bennett singing My Favorite Things.
Oh.
Nice
song.
Like it?
Yeah.
All right. My last pick, I'm going the legend Mavis Staples, the Christmas Vacation theme song.
Yes.
Oh, so good.
I like it.
Perfect.
I heard that in the grocery the other day, but I think it was a cover version, and I was like, "What is this?"
You're like, who is singing this?
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't know we did cover versions of this, but whatever. It's a good song.
All right, so that means Jack, you're the final pick. No pressure.
Joe, I really appreciate you not taking You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, because that was my only option here, and I did not have a fallback. So
You're very welcome.
You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, and I will use the artist Thurl Ravenscroft.
Perfect.
Is there a greater name for someone with that voice than Thurl Ravenscroft?
Oh, fantastic.
No.
Just perfect.
So, did anyone by chance write all these down for when I make the graphic later? Because I forgot to.
I tried to.
I have my picks.
I can send them to you.
Yeah. If you guys have your picks, feel free to send them to me, and I'll make a graphic to put up on the socials because we gotta get the community in here. I am gonna preface one thing since it's been such a hot button. I for sure wanted to take Wonderful Christmas Time, but the fact that I thought everyone was gonna like chase you with pitchforks and burning today, I ran away.
Tim, I wanted to tell you this so bad. Literally right before I hopped on, I got a news update from my news app, and it said most hated Christmas songs of all time. And that was the first one on there. And I agree with you. I think it's hated on way too much. I don't think it's half as bad as people make it out to be. And I think people that just worked at the Gap during Christmas hate it.
Yeah. I understand. I worked retail during Christmas, so I know the bad Christmas songs out there. Trust me. Queen's Thank God It's Christmas. Not good. I love Queen. Not good. Not good, Bob. Let's see. John Lennon's War Is Over. Not good. Love John Lennon. Not good. Not good.
Mm-hmm.
We can go through this.
Eartha Kitt's Santa Baby.
I like the Kylie Minogue.
That should have been whose version?
Kylie Minogue.
I like Kylie Minogue.
Yeah.
As a child of the 80s, man, she whew.
Right. Well, yeah, Sean just mentioned Madonna. Bruh. Yeah. Not so much.
Burl Lives, Holly Jolly. Yeah. She's like 87 years old, isn't she?
Feels like it.
Like
she's not that old, but I mean, she's not young.
Yeah. And also, I'm going to go ahead and put this out there real fast because I know if we put the graphic up, someone will go, no, blah, 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 blah. There's 7 of us on a podcast. We didn't have much time to think about it. So please do not yell at us about whatever. This is a fun thing we wanted to do to end the season. So, gentlemen, this was incredible, actually. Like the fact that we got this podcast out with it like just a little over an hour is amazing. So thank you all for going along with the silly idea I had. I greatly appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. Thank you all so much for everything this year. Moving Late Night Reds to the Riverfront was the best decision I've ever made content-wise, and also be able to bring your Riverfront U involved. I just want to say thank you guys for making that something where the Riverfront can support that as well. As me, Sean, Jack, we can all attest to you. Like, we're putting a lot of work into our content right now. We really appreciate it. Sean had a game today, and he still did a podcast tonight. So we definitely appreciate that. Check out Jack's work on Miami of Ohio at riverfrontcincy.com. So I don't have to drive to Oxford all the time anymore. It's definitely appreciated. I do think it's a beautiful campus. Jack, is Millard Hall low-key underrated because like the red carpet grid drapes on each behind the basket? I kind of love that.
It would be a fantastic arena if we would get some student attendance.
Yeah, that's true.
It would be a lot. The atmosphere has the potential to be absolutely fantastic if people would show up to the games, but it's tough to, get any sort of atmosphere in a building where there's only about 100 people showing up per game. So Millette's a fantastic arena. Can't wait to get more coverage out there for you guys. But yeah, show up to games.
Yeah. Follow Jack on socials at Jack Mueller 15 that you see there on the socials. I'm sorry, Jack, not everything could be the Cintas Center.
Low rent version of Fifth Third Arena. Hey, everyone, check out before. Just kidding.
Hey, what did your team do at Cintas last week? In the last 30 years.
My team can't win on the road. My team is like, it was a long time ago when they won at Cintas. Everyone, check out riverfrontcincy.com. We have a lot of awesome new articles in our shop, especially for Riverfront U. I got some new Bengals stuff up, so there's a lot of cool stuff. Buy our stuff, rep our gear. We want to look cool.
Yeah. And also, biggest growth we've had on the YouTube channel in months.
That's what she said.
So thank you all so much for your continued support. Like I said, Ben and I are done till January.
Sorry, Chad.
Because Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve both fall on Sundays. So we're gonna enjoy the time. We'll be back January 7th. Getting ready for pitchers and catchers, of course. So, Joe, nothing. You pulled it. That's what she said in my previous nothing for pitchers and catchers.
I already
stop. I already stopped.
I was gonna say I already disappointed Dan. I didn't want to disappoint him anymore.
All right, folks. Thank you all. We'll see you in January. Have a good one. Take it easy.